Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, so as you can see, we're back in the P3D. It's been several weeks since I had the opportunity to take the old Mad Dog out for a spin. Of course, you know I had to do that. Can't have days off without tripping the old Mad Dog. So we're in the MD-88 currently in Atlanta. I'll be making a short trip around like 300 some odd miles or whatever to old Memphis, home to Elvis Presley and Mediocre Barbecue. Hope nobody from Memphis is on the stream. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be doing that. I believe winds are favoring runway 27, so we'll have that long 17-hour taxi and departure to the west. So cool. Let's see. So here she is, MD-88. I think we're working with about 19,000 pounds of fuel. The trip called for like 18.7, but I just threw an extra 15 and some change in there. Why not? So, kind of where we're at. Hooked up at the gate. And so go ahead. I guess we'll go ahead and board. I'll try to slam this flight plan in as quickly as I can. So looks like we'll be, departing to some right, taking the NASA 2 departure, transition through Shook, something like that. Yeah, Shook. Direct to Washer, transitioning directly into the Vans 2 arrival and into Memphis, runway 36 Charlie. So we'll go ahead and board. Chris boarding. No, not deboarding. I think I could reset. Man, we would do that. Alright, cool. Boarding. What are you complaining about? Alright, there we go. So, while they're doing that, is we really... Oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Open front door. Let them take care of that. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and just dial in. Yes, open half door. And KMEM. I want to say we're closer to 6 left. I don't know. We'll find out. Find out here in a minute. Shook. Alright. Then we'll go direct to Washer. Well, that's a wash. Yeah, Wazer. Something like that. I don't know. Bam. Right there. I mean, honestly, the flight plan is fairly straightforward. It's one of those situations where you're going directly from a SID to a star. Vans 2. Never ran that one. Vans 2, 36B, Washer. Can we deselect that one? Go back to RT. Let's see. And deselect that. Pick some random one or something, see if it'll let me do it. Freaking will let me delete it. No, you let me clear it. Man, this thing is bound and determined to freaking make me take 18C, and I do not want that one. Yeah, see, I think this one's good. Oh my gosh, I don't want to take 17 minutes, freaking. I know y'all are like, this guy's not about to do this. I don't even think I can. Honestly, I just was going to do that out of frustration, but I don't even think I can. Let's see if we can delete it here. Okay, that's kind of what we wanted. There we go. My goodness. So yeah, while we're now behind the curveball a little bit, let's see if we can. 36. There we go. Washer. My goodness, finally. All right. Let's see. Fuel 19.3. We'll be on a normal schedule. Zero fuel weight. I know for the release is like 119,000. Final reserves 3.4. Cruise altitude. Let me see if I can pull this up. Cruise altitude is going to be. Let's see. 28,000. So 280 there. Winds will be. Top of climb 51. Throw that in there. And take off, what is it? 134, V1, rotate 137, then V2 at 146. Should be good. Is the AP on? Yeah, AP on. All right. So sometimes you run into situations where you don't have that APU power available light. If that's the case, you just want to Up here, reset the buzz, and it should come up. Now, if it doesn't come up then you probably have a defective APU, which I'm sure happens quite frequently on this aircraft. Let's see, pack's on. Go ahead and open up our bleeds. Mac bleeds both sides, got air. So at this point, go ahead and disconnect everything.
Yes, sir. You're clear to disconnect. Thanks.
Should be ready to push. I think all the doors are closed. Yeah. So the fuel pump's on. Start pump off. $260 and what's the car? 197. 161. All right, get myself together here. Go ahead and pull the gate back. Alright. Make sure clear ground equipment. Alright, so looks like our buckets or reverse buckets are deployed. So we'll go ahead and get the hydraulics and should clear that up. There we go.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Locking gear. Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will. Set parking brakes. Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Alright, cool. Had to step away for a bit. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen the start process numerous times, so you guys know what's going on.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Wait for this dude here and give us the go around, and we should be on our way. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Our APU is winding down. Alright, so we're good to go. Nose light on. We'll go ahead and bump the throttles just a little bit. Crack him just a hair. Test my brakes, make sure the brakes are good. Alright, let's see. Fairly clear day today, so I don't think we'll be hitting a whole lot of IMC. And nice and cold. Honestly, we probably could have done a flex takeoff, but we're not gonna worry about it. It'll be all right. Okay, we see the sign for 26 left. And once we make this turn, normally I'll kind of bump up my taxi speed a little bit. And what you can do, you can watch your ground speed here. Normally the max, which are, you know, depending on the airport, you know, there are speed limits, but normally I do about 20 knots on the ground speed, 18, so around there. I mean, you can do it 10 knots, but you know, 10, 15 knots, but you'll be taxing here for a while. So, especially like Atlanta, Minneapolis, larger airports like that, I'll pick up my taxi speed a good bit. Because I mean, honestly, you're literally taxiing about a mile, if not more, depending on the length of the runway. Especially when you start from the very end and you gotta go all the way down. I try to get a good pace. Nice little jaunt. little swirly. I'll tell you this, when you go to games like DCS, I mean, where you're, you know, when you start out and, you know, you're on P3D and FSX and all those, and, you know, you're used to the little tiller, you got your own separate tiller, and, all your, I mean, even just a regular, you know, rudder steering, and, you know, you go to DCS, and, excuse me, you gotta engage nozzle steering and do all this and all that just to get to the point where you can take off. I almost take this for granted. I almost take this for granted. So shout out to the guys who do that in real life, because my goodness. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, about 24, 25 knots is like my limit there. So that way we can kind of ease on the brakes and go ahead and turn this on here. And we'll make this little turn there. Get up to the whole short line, and we'll get ourselves set up. And I'm easing the brakes there. Cool. Alrighty, so let these guys go. Let them know that we're gonna be cutting out of here. Spoilers armed. And turn on the weather radar. Ignition on. All brakes set for takeoff. Trim is set. Flaps are set. I'll go ahead and get clearance. Alright, let's say we got takeoff clearance. Let's go ahead and get these guys on there. At some point, I keep thinking about, oh yeah, let's go ahead and reactivate my traffic, and I forget every time. Alright, gotta get nice and centered on this thing here. Alright, let's kind of do one last glance. Map looks good. And we'll go ahead and ease up to about 1.4 on the EPR and engage that auto throttle. And 1.4. Gear up.
Gear up. Lights out.
Alright, let's try to fly that flight director best we can. Alright, about 1,000 feet. Engage VNav. Airplane nice and trimmed out. And then we'll go ahead and set climb thrust.
Thrust set.
And of course, the Mad Dog, you are the most busiest. Ready to take off. And we'll try the slats.
Slats were tracked.
And it does, she does feel a little sluggish on takeoff, but I mean, once she starts getting some airspeed, she trims out quite nicely. And we'll go ahead and bring our landing lights up. Reduce that drag. And also you want to go ahead and turn off bring your pumps to low and turn your trans and your aux pump to off. But since we don't have a first officer to help us with that, we'll focus on flying the airplane. And once we get to 10 grand, we'll get all that. Excuse me, we'll get all that together. Put this in there for you guys so you can see. There we go. And you're just kind of keeping those crosshairs in line. It does help if you can get the airplane trimmed out the best you can. I mean, you're going to hit bumps, a little undulations, but more often than not, she usually settles right back on the crosshairs. Getting close to 9,000 there. And we are right there at 10 grand. So we'll lower that nose there. Get her leaned into the wind. Use that trim, and we'll give it to Otto. Let Otto do his thing. Let's see, we're going to turn our ignition, select your switches to off, and scroll down here. I say scroll, but you know what I mean. Now hydraulic pumps to low, aux and trans pump to off. Go ahead and turn those seatbelt signs off there. And just do a quick scan, make sure everything's kosher. Make sure nothing's on. Enunciator panel clear. Yeah, everything's looking good so far. Zoom out. our display there. A fairly short flight, not long at all. I know the last few times I've taken this thing out, I do have the failures on, so I'm just waiting for that deferred item. Although I did miss the weekly maintenance check when I jumped into the software. Coming out of 15,000 all the way up to 260. Earlier this morning, I was took the F-14 out in DCS and tried a little air refueling. Now I still haven't gotten it down, of course, but it does feel, I'm not sure if it's the size or how the wing's set up. I think I was using like 55 degrees of wing sweep, and I mean, it was really stable, really stable. But of course they added another little challenge there. So it seems as if now they're utilizing wake turbulence coming off of the tanker. So now not only do you have to focus on, of course, flying the airplane, but you know, you have to also keep in mind of the wake turbulence that you hit, which is temporarily once you get set up, you know, right before contact, it kind of lines out, so it's not too bad. But it's a challenge. We're at 180 there, so we'll set ourselves up for transition. Altitude 292 on altimeter. And there we go. Right there-ish. Is it on both sides? Yeah, it's on both sides. Alright, cool. So yeah, a little bit of a challenge, but it's fun. It's although I know nothing of military fighters, they do behave quite differently than what you would expect in P3D. The majority of the military fighters that I've seen from FXS P3D, although they're good, they just don't have the same fidelity as a lot of your military aircraft that you download or purchase for DCS, which is rightfully so. DCS is more in tune to the combat side of things as far as flight simulation. So you got ballistics and all that seems to be, in my opinion, a little more accurate, but at the same time the learning curve is steep. It's not something that you can just dive in and immediately get the hang of. I mean, even if you've been flying, been simming or flying real life for years, it's the curve's still there. Each aircraft that because I don't think freeware is really that big in DCS unless it's like missions or controller configs or things like that. But as far as the actual aircraft themselves, more often than not, you're purchasing them, and they're not cheap. I think the F-14, while definitely worth it, I think the F-14 runs about $80. Which, I mean, heck, that's what you'll spend for I mean, anything else really in flight sim. I think they have a Harrier as well. I think that runs about, I don't know. Last time I seen it, it was on sale. And I think it was like $40 or something like that. But once again, high fidelity simulation with all the systems modeled. I mean, borderline study level, literally borderline study level. In fact, one could venture to say that the F-14 is the study level simulation. And I mean, it's dang, we're at 260. Alrighty, awesome. It does help with that cooler air. It seems like we got a pretty large cold air mass over the southeast, so it's helping out a lot on the performance. But yeah, so one would venture to say that 80% of the aircraft that you find on DCS is they're pretty accurate. So if you do decide to, which DCS itself is free, I think they throw a couple of free airplanes in the mix as well to kind of get your feet wet. But if you do decide to go that route, we'll go ahead and set our thrust up there for a cruise. If you do decide to go that route, don't get discouraged. It's very easy to get frustrated. There's a lot of material on YouTube. Shout out to 104 Maverick, Ralphie Dude, Jabber. Those guys, they have some awesome tutorials. I mean, some really good tutorials to follow, and to try to make the trend. I mean, because you can read manuals all day long, but you really need to just see someone perform. For example, air refueling. It's almost like the closest thing I could equate that to, which even then it's almost no comparison, is to like, I don't know, flying like a DME arc or something. I don't know. Because it's almost as if you really need to be comfortable. Well, it's not almost, but you really need to be comfortable with formation flying. So it's one of those situations where it's like, dang, should I have practiced formation flying first and then try this air refueling thing or what? And those of us who just don't have a lot of time to devote to it, or as much time as we'd want to devote to it, it's like, crap, I kind of want to at least try this thing, it's there. I'm going to see if I can try this thing. And, so, those who are new to the DCS world, sometimes it can be a little frustrating, but, the community is very welcoming. I'll say that, really hadn't ran into anyone that, threw the noob card or anything like that. A lot of them, they provide some really good insight into, like I said, mirror refueling, how to get set up. Like, for example, little things like you would never know, like, one would assume, of course, you want to find kind of a fixed point, to gauge from, but then it's like, okay, the airplane's moving, so I mean, what, like, for example, from looking at my aiming point, on a visual approach, and we know that the aiming point's not moving, we know that's a fixed point, so it's a very good visual reference. Well, it's a little different when you're refueling, because that visual reference is constantly moving, so they always say to find a point on the aircraft to really gauge yourself from, rather than looking at the probe or the basket that you're looking to attach to. And I mean, those things you would never know. You never know. And even by doing that, you mitigate a lot of the induced oscillations, because like subconsciously you're trying to follow this thing, so that those movements are being translated into your controls, which of course are exaggerated in the aircraft. And so you're fluttering around, and I mean eventually tire yourself out, screw it. But I mean it's a learning process. Carrier landings is another one to actually do a I mean, pretty much anybody after a certain period of time can, making that right turn there. I don't think we're too terribly far. Yeah, we're not far at all. But, I mean, after so long, eventually you will get the airplane on the carrier. Um, but to get a consistent, like, third wire, three wire trap, there's a process, there's a procedure you have to follow, like just like flying an ILS approach. I mean, you could chase a glide slope all day long, but to actually fly a textbook stable approach to where you're not working yourself to death, there's a process. So it's a little humbling. Even with real world experience, it's a little humbling to try that side, of aviation. And just, man, there's these guys really do this. There's guys out there, they do this on a daily basis. And once again, shout out to all the servicemen who do this day in and day out, at night. And you're tired. We're not even talking about flying the bloody mission, and or whatever, and then you have to come back and you know land this thing on a moving boat. And Lord knows, the weather is never how you want it. So, you got all these different variables here and there. And, I mean, really, I think the only thing you could say for certain is at least, the carrier will attempt to angle the ship into the direction of the wind. So one would assume for the most part you have a pretty good headwind, but, just, with the, unpredictability of, weather at sea. I mean, even that's not, a guarantee always. So yeah, you just can't help but be amazed that, people do this on a daily basis. And, I guess that's one of the reasons why even in commercial aviation, you see a lot of your Navy pilots turn out to be, one of your, not going to say, that's the norm or that's, the standard, but, for the most part, a lot of the aviators I've run into, some of the better ones have had a lot of experience in the Navy, and in the Air Force, because you're just put in situations you wouldn't normally be in, in a civilian world, and the stresses aren't the same. Even some of your helicopter pilots. I know there's a gentleman in my or hometown, Mississippi. He flew helicopters for the local hospital there. He flew the helicopter there, and he had a lot of experience. And he had some, older gentleman. This was years ago, mind you. Was really young, but he was he was a Vietnam vet. Flying helicopters. And I mean, to watch that guy, I mean, he would put that, he would, put the aircraft in places just like there's no way. And, but thinking back on some of the experiences that, he encountered, there were situations to where, you had no choice, you had to get there. I mean, there were people, there's people whose lives depended on you hitting the LZ. It just had to happen. So, and then you do it day in, day out. And, that translate into, even offshore, a lot of the oil platforms, a lot of those guys are, You know, not all of them, but a lot of them they're ex-military, and you know they're able to do some amazing things, and you know handle different stresses a lot easier. As if for example, if I went and um, got my rotary ticket and went out there, and it's like, God, it's this freaking platform, but our weather, things like that, you just handle it differently. I mean, you handle things differently. So just feel free what you guys feel free to let me know what you guys think on the chat. But no, I'm definitely shout out to the servicemen out there, freaking playing real world DCS. I mean, that's in landing that thing on the carrier. Good lord, it's insane. But yeah, so like I said, I've been out of the loop for a little bit, but now I see there's some pretty nice things on the horizon, especially for X-Plane. I think somebody is working on I think it's a citation CJ1, I believe, for X-Plane. There's a developer who's doing some work on it. Aerobask is... What are they doing? I forgot. What was it? That's what it is. So Aerobask, those of you who aren't familiar with Aerobask, if I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not, but yeah. They're doing a Dassault. Man, I never noticed. That looks nice. They're doing a Dassault. I think it's what is it? The Dassault 8X or something like that. What is it? I want to say the Dassault 8X or something like that. It was the one. I hate to slander people, but it was the one Wilco screwed up back in the day. Man, who is that? Yeah, I think it's the Dassault 8X, I believe. Yeah, it's the Falcon. Yeah, Dassault Falcon 8X. But anyway, Aerobask is doing one. Those of you who aren't familiar with Aerobask, they're the ones who did they've also done an Eclipse VLJ for X-Plane. They've also done several others. I know they did a DA62 for X-Plane as well. That's phenomenal. But they've actually got the licensing from Dassault to do this, so I don't think they'll screw it up. I think we're in for a treat. Those of you who have X-Plane, I think it's going to be something to really look forward to. I know back in the day, Wilco had the same licensing, and I mean, I'm just going to be honest, they freaking butchered it. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. Not saying that was an easy project to do, and quite frankly, I was a little disappointed. Not so much, because of who it was, but Wilco, those of you who don't know, they were the guys behind the Embraer and the Embraer series and the E-Jet family, and for the most part, I mean, the modeling just, it was plausible, but their avionics have always been on point. They've always been really good. So, let's see. Let's see. Just want to double check something real quick. Let's see if I can change that. There we go. So I had to double check myself because I kept looking at my display. I was like, man, I should have hit top of climb already because we're 260 is what I said. I may have said 280. Anyway, I think I fat fingered it on my FMS and I got stuck there. But then again, I think some of the star, I think it probably calls for the altitude 280. So anyway. But yeah, so like the flight model, I mean the flight dynamics, I mean they pretty much started the regional jet trend, years ago, and I'm not sure what happened or whatever, but it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of fell short. But anyway, so shortly thereafter, after their success with the Embraer series, they dropped this press release. Hey, we have a got an agreement with we're officially licensed by Dassault to, do this, this next gen, business jet. And everybody's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And it released, and yeah, because I was literally, I mean, I was about to hit that buy now button, and then the slander hit, and at first I was like, well, maybe it wasn't, it wasn't all, maybe, everybody has their own opinions, and sometimes you just gotta jump in and try it, but it was consistent. A lot of people were saying that, the thing was unflyable, couldn't even fly it, and watched a few YouTube videos, and I mean, yeah. So I was honestly kind of, I gave up on it and didn't really think much of it until, checking the forums, and Arabesque had that little press release or whatnot, and so kind of rejuvenated my enthusiasm for good Dassault jet. Now we do have the Falcon 50. Flight Somewhere has a really nice Falcon 50 for P3D, and which is, it's really nice. But we don't have that, which is it's transcontinental. It's capable of going across the pond, but we don't have that. We've yet to have the 747 of the business jet world, and hopefully they're able to pull it off, and we're finally able to make those ultra long hauls in style. It'd be pretty nice. Let's see. Let's double check something here. Make sure. So I think we're just gonna go vectors to Nesbit. Yeah, directors Nesbit and on to 36 Charlie. So that being said, we'll go ahead and get ourselves set up. There we go. Get ourselves set up there. Everything else is good so far. And normally I want to try to keep an eye on our fuel temps as well. Once they get below 0, starts acting kind of like diesel, starts getting a little jelly, no pun intended. And So you just crack the fuel heat, warm it up, and it's good to go. But just, it is something you have to watch. Oh, so, but yeah, super excited about that. Hadn't really seen a whole lot on the P3D side, honestly. That I've heard. No, Active Sky, they just released a big update for, I think, Active Sky XP and the one for P3D version 4, I believe. Other than that, that's really been it. I mean, as far as as far as P3D, I mean, there's been a few releases here and there of some scenery, but I think Virtua Call, I think they released an Airbus A220, and you know, so if you're looking for, if you just gotta fly a 220, there you go. Yeah, not a whole lot on the P3D side. X-Plane, they're starting to starting to see a lot more activity in X-Plane than than you have in previous years, which I'm super excited about. Honestly, I'm excited for all genres, but it's seems as if X-Plane's starting to get its share, starting to get its share of the limelight. It's pretty nice. I mean, you got some pretty heavy releases coming. I mean, you got a Yak 52. Those who like the old Russian style. You got what else? Military visualizations. They're pushing a ATR for X-Plane 11. When that will actually be completed, no idea. Now, I've seen these guys around for a while, but their pronunciation I'm not 100% on. But we're going to go ahead and make that shot. Tulis, the Tulis A319, got licensing by Airbus, which, I mean, you got Boeing and then you got Airbus. I mean, both of these guys are just behemoths in the industry. And to get someone to put their name on your airplane for a flight simulator, not just a flight simulator, a commercial grade flight simulator, in my opinion, is huge. I mean, you got some companies out there that won't touch with a 10-foot pole. I mean, i.e. Gulfstream. I mean, it's just not happening. Which is one of the main reasons why you haven't seen a Gulfstream for any platform, whether it be X-Plane, P3D, Flight Sim, FSX, Aerofly, you name it, it's not happening. So, you do have Boeing. I want to say PMDG does have Boeing licensing, so you got them. I want to say SSG has official Boeing licensing for their 747-8 for X-Plane. But you don't really hear a lot of that from Airbus. I mean, even FS Labs, I don't think has the official licensing from Airbus. So, and I haven't tried the Tulis A319, but I've heard really good things about it. And I mean, just by them getting that, I'm sure has started to crack the floodgates in sales. I'm pretty sure they've started to pick up some sales. just by that announcement alone. I mean, even I'm thinking about giving it a shot, see what happens. Because I've heard really good things about it, so I may have to pick it up. But yeah, I mean, like I said, to get someone or to get a company of that size to even pay attention to you says a lot. So shout out to Tulis on that one. You know, pretty stoked about that. Then let's see here, man. I mean, other than that, I mean, which, you know, it's pretty. I mean, Falcon X, and that's, I don't know, to me that kind of takes the cake. I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't heard much from X-Crafts regarding their ERJ 145135, so may have to do some digging, see if there's been any new news regarding that. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's really been it. So I think Q1's starting to wind down, so we'll see what happens for the later parts of the year and go from there. Let's see here. So, oh, and let's see. Fly JSim. So, I think they're well known at this point for their Q400. So we're starting their descent there. Yeah. Pretty well known for their Q400, and they seem to be doing pretty well. Looks like they're about to be doing another. They're about to be doing another release of another iteration of the Q400, which I'm sure will probably be updated at some point. Like it's almost a complete redo of the Q400 from what I'm reading. Yeah, so maybe something to kind of keep an eye on. Those of you who are still, still got that bug for the old regional turboprops. They keep an eye out for those guys. So I mean, they do really good work from what I read on them and videos and stuff I've looked at. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And even, I don't think I've mentioned this in the past, but I want to say, I think maybe a month ago, I think the gentleman's name is Stefano, I believe. The gentleman behind Fly the Mad Dog X, I think. Apparently they're working on another big update for the MD-80 series. The virtual cockpit is to be either retextured or redone, and a few other add-ons. So keep your eye out for that, because it's gonna be pretty heavy. I was looking to see if I can at least get the feature list on what they're actually looking at adding. Let's see. Nah, I'm still looking. Yeah, it looks like they're not giving a whole lot of info on it, but apparently now that they've added, PBR or procedural based rendering to their external models, they're going to be looking to add it to the virtual cockpit as well. I think that's the biggie. Oh, and they're also looking to add an ACAR system that will interact with apparently airline dispatch maintenance crew, which should integrate into the maintenance system. Oh wow, okay. So yeah, okay. It's gonna be pretty nice. And basically, the long and short of it, taking more advantage of, seem like they're focusing more on the P3D version 4.4 platform. So looks like they're going to be taking more advantage of its capabilities, and so we should be in for a treat. When that's coming, though, I'm not sure. It seems like the rate they're going, I don't think it's going to be long at all. Don't think it's going to be long at all. And prepare for landing there. Go ahead and get everybody seated and all that fun stuff. No drag required. And just see, then a lot of times I'll take a quick glance here, fuel temp. Normally I wait till it hits 0. We'll go ahead and crack them open. You'll see the fuel temp come up. I'm talking about 57 miles from Memphis. Alright, I'll go ahead and get out of the spoilers. The spoilers. Yeah, I love this other view. There we go. I didn't bother texturing the inside, but I'm not mad at that at all. Saves on frame rate. Yeah, let's back up a little bit and see what we got going on here. So probably we'll go ahead and take over. Set it up for about 1,700 foot per minute. That should work nicely there. And jump on that speed brake. Come up on the vertical speed a little bit. And the name of the game here is trying to get under 250, below 10,000. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we're descending to 3,000. And we'll go ahead and turn our wing landing lights, hydraulic pumps. Yeah, we'll go ahead and turn on our ignition. And we'll just kind of let her settle out there. Double check our fuel, see where our fuel's looking like. Oh yeah, we got plenty. Got plenty. See landing data. Okay. We're about 30 miles or so from Nesbit. Actually, probably what we're gonna do, we'll go ahead and run direct Nesbit. Which, of course, doesn't change much, like right there. Go ahead and set our make sure that's good to go there. $14 miles. There's the glide slope localizer. And if you want, you can ident it this one. It's for HF. One of those. But anyway, yeah, you can indent it. Alright, so what we want to do, I want to start trying to bleed off some of the speed. Which isn't hard in MD-80. What you can do, you can dump some slats, leading edge slats, and you'll still be well below its limitations. And that's, matter of fact, probably we'll go ahead and do.
Slats extended.
Yeah, we'll come up to 210. Yeah, it's like about 14 miles out. Yeah, let's go ahead and arm our ILS mode on our autopilot there and wait for that localizer to come alive. There we go, so localizer's coming alive. And I'll go ahead and slow to 190. And bring that down to 180. And should be intercepting the glide slope here shortly. Glide slope's alive, gear down.
Flaps 15. Gear down.
2500.
And you can kind of see there we're starting to bleed off airspeed. Okay, so go ahead and put the bring it down to flaps 28. And it's going to fly 145, 146. Arm spoiler. Come down here. And just for giggles, I'll go ahead and turn on APM. So it's on. Let's see. Go ahead and hopefully I hadn't had any drastic scenery changes in a little gusty.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
2 in reverse. 60 knots. Reverse lights out.
Okay. Scared the crap out of me. I forgot about those little sounds they had in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please remain seated and keep your seatbelts fastened until the fasten seatbelt sign has been turned off.
And get this thing cleaned up.
Another flight are kindly requested to contact the ground staff for information regarding customs clearance and baggage, even if it is already tagged for its final destination.
Let's see.
Thank you for choosing our airline.
Running lights off. Alrighty, let's see. And turn that off. Oops. Yeah, we'll go ahead and kill number one. Oh man, let's see. There we see if we can make this turn. I'm a pretty big McDonnell Douglas fan, but some of the things they did as far as placement of certain things just did not make sense. Yeah, this one looks pretty inviting. Guess we'll hit this one. Let's see. No idea how close I am. We'll go ahead and call it right here. Oh, let's see. Over here, and those guys off. This off. Jump back over here. Oh, let's see. That off. That off. That off. That off. Parking brake set. And yeah, should be good to go. Alrighty, hopefully the stream went okay. I'm trying some new software, so hopefully everything worked out with the audio. If not, please let me know. Or heck, for all I know, the stream may not have even have made it. But nevertheless, we'll keep on pushing. Alright, now you guys have a good rest of your Friday, and we'll see you later.